word of English when he came here. He didn't come here with his parents, he came here by himself and opened up restaurants. And that is what our kids need to know. They need to know that this is the greatest country and the American dream still exists and they can do anything. Nobody's better than another person. We live in the land of the free and the home of the brave, and that's what our kids need to know. And same thing, my big things are literacy, CTE, working with the community so that our children are prepared for the future. They have those opportunities to be the business leader in Knox County and want to stay here. And just what Virginia said, a lot of, with COVID this past year, we have seen some learning loss this year, but we were very blessed, and we were one of the only big counties in the state that stayed in person this year. All the other big counties were virtual. Some went back after spring break. We were so successful. Everybody worked really hard because our teachers, our kids wanted to be in person. And so we made that happen for our students. And that's something I'm really proud of.
Can I direct you a little bit more? We can get to COVID in a moment, but I know your time's short since you may have to, you've got small children at home who have to go to school tomorrow. But
yeah, I'm going to mom mode.
We saw in the news where a Sturkey Elementary art teacher showed an 11-minute film called Something Happened in Our Town. That appeared to me and others to go against what is now state law. Evidently, she's no longer at that school. She's now in the Powell Elementary School. Has the school board instructed the superintendent that that film and others like it are not acceptable in our school system?
So I know we can't speak about specifics about that particular teacher just because...
In general.
Okay, yeah, we can do that because I know that it's, I believe, in litigation or about to go into litigation, so we can't speak specifically to that. But generally speaking, that was against the approved curriculum for Knox County. Like Virginia said, we do have policies in place that, and there's different layers of policies. There's several different policies about controversial issues that certain curriculum has to be approved by the principal. You have to let the parents know if this is going to come up, so they have a chance to opt out of that. And then with the state, this is going to add even a bigger layer of protection over that, because the schools at this point, you're breaking the law at that point. And the fines are heavy. The first offense is $1 million. The second offense is $2 million, and it kind of rolls out from there. So I think that these layers of protection kind of help with that. And that particular book or audio book was against my understanding against the Knox County Code.
And it really was not, I think to answer directly to you, it was not the board going in. It was their layers already to take care of what the issue was. That did not rise to the board because things were already in place to take care of it.
So, but I think some people see elected office holders as the last resort. That if it isn't taken care of in the school system, because it to me it's unusual for an art teacher to be showing a film about a white cop shooting a black community member.
Yeah. And I totally understand. I'm a parent. My daughter, when this happened, was in the same grade. It happened in 4th grade. And so I totally, as a parent, and because those policies were broken, those actions are being taken against my understanding. Yes, Kim.
2 points, and I think Ms. Babb, you brought up a good point that it's not something that we think about being taught here, because it's usually not, hey, I'm going to teach you about CRT today. It's nuanced, and we've seen teacher groups even locally say, well, we're going to do it anyways, and that's easy for them to do because it's nuances. So I have a mixed race family, and I can tell you that as much as you say white people are more superior, it often is about telling black children, you have it harder. Things are harder for you. And sometimes it looks like that, which seems a little bit less obvious, but it's teaching those children that they're not equal. And like you talked about your dad's American dream, we want all kids to know that they have that same equitable opportunity, which they do. But my question is, when that happens, and I didn't quite hear you, Betsy, but when that happens, I heard you say there are several different become nuanced. How are you going to hold these teachers accountable? And I know I've worked in the schools, it's hard to fire a teacher. How are you going to make sure that teachers that do cross this line are not allowed in our schools and with access to our children anymore?
Well, I will actually bring up, because I talked just a little bit about this person, and honestly, I don't think they were moved. I think they were hired by another school, to be honest with you. And I think I would bring that up. This point is, I think too, do you give people a second chance? Someone maybe made a mistake, and after they were talked to, do we totally punish people and say, you now have gotten a career that you have gone to school for, and you've made one mistake, and you have no hope of ever redeeming yourself? So I do think I feel like some stuff is a little punitive, that sometimes I think we've got what's coming from the state right now. We already have standards in our schools. We will be taking what's coming from the state and embedding those more into the standards and into the policies. I know, as we've talked about, the principals have been talked about this. They trickle it down to the teachers. But I don't also want a teacher so afraid to open their mouth because they think that they're going to be fined $1 million.
I don't think anybody's saying that they should be banned for life or fined $1 million. We're asking what will be done to hold them accountable.
Well, I mean, if you are reported, if you do something, then there is reporting to the principal, then to the district level, and you actually, I think, talked to our HR a little bit more about it.
So I talked to the HR department in the school system, and there's different offenses. There's insubordination, there's neglect of duty, incompetence is another one. There's 5 different ones. And so when a teacher or staff member breaks one of these rules, the appropriate actions are taken for that offense, and they get a couple chances, I believe, within that. And I think too, with the new law that's coming up, and maybe it is, and I'm open to suggestions as well. Anybody's free to contact me. That when these things come up, sometimes our policies need to be redone as well. And and just going into the schools, like, hey, this is new. This is what's going on. These are the rules that we need to follow, and make sure that everybody understands them too.
Yeah, because it's law now. It's not just
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So now there's lots
But I think there's a lot of layers with our HR, and there are a lot of ways to, talk through it. I mean, it's like with anything, as she said, there are 5 different ways you can get in trouble. There's different things, but we want people to be successful teachers with us. So, what you want to do is be able to work with a teacher that you hope can stay with our system and work within the rules and the laws and everything else. But if not, there are repercussions to it. I think with any kind of, job, I think sometimes people too much think, oh, you can get fired a teacher. Well, that's not true. It's just, you have to go through,
I work in the schools. It's pretty hard.
Well, a lot is it's up to a principal to do the processes, to be honest. I've talked to principals that are very strong, and if they follow processes and the teacher isn't, doing the right thing, there are things in place to take care of it. It's just, are they doing the job to do it, or at the district level? So, these gentlemen have to take that for a while.
Getting away from critical race theory for a moment, how can we set standards and hold children to them under the No Child Left Behind? That's one. 2, has there been any effort to try to get a partnership with union apprenticeship programs?
Okay, so I'll answer that second one. Are you talking about like different businesses, like different trade skills
Yeah,
around
different
the
trades.
area? Okay, so that is
Many unions have apprenticeship programs.
right. So that is something Virginia brought up just a little bit ago. So we are partnering with Ford Next Generation and creating this whole programming around this. So getting businesses involved, getting nonprofits involved. That way the kids know what's out there. The students know the businesses that are out there, and they can work directly with those businesses. Because one thing, I know when I was campaigning, I went to a lot of different businesses, and one thing I heard was, well, the children that are coming out of high school that want to do a trade skill aren't completely ready. They're not trained in that area, so this will help them. And we're working with different partners to fund that. It's really exciting. I'm really excited about that because it
nobody in here looks super young. But you know, I mean, I hear from people all the time that we used to teach shop, we used to teach a lot of these trades in the schools, and then we got away from that. And I do think everybody's realized there are different paths for every kid, and I do really strongly believe in the message of it's not necessarily a 4-year university or a 2-year university. It's got to be some kind of future training. And I don't know what, I wasn't involved, I didn't even live here, probably what happened, why there was the swing away from the trades. But now I think we are all realizing how important it is. But one of the things we're really looking at Knox County is we don't need all 18 of our high schools to teach electricity and all 18 of them to teach plumbing. What we need to do is find partners. And I look at like West High School over here, and maybe somewhere like Schaffner is close to us, and that would be a good partner for West High School. Out in Hardin Valley, there might be another kind of, Oak Ridge is a natural one with a lot of stuff going on out there. We're kind of going to look at where, because the kids a lot of times will stay in the same neighborhoods that they've gone to high school. So if they can start having those relationships and start getting skills for an employer down the street, that's going to make a big difference. I mean, cosmetology right now is probably taught at like 16 of our 18 schools. And it's not to say, I mean, we all get, at least the women here, we all get our hair done, and I know I spend a lot of money on it.